Whoever keeps saying AEW doesn't tell stories, please just stop. AEW has disproven that multiple times. Seriously, if you're still repeating that criticism in 2026, I honestly don't know what shows you've been watching. Because after Double or Nothing, AEW didn't just tell stories. They told so many stories that fans couldn't even keep up with all of them. Meanwhile, the company that's always praised for storytelling has quietly become the most predictable wrestling promotion in America. And then on top of that, WWE decided to release Unreal, that showed creative meetings, production discussions, and exactly how the magic gets made. For some wrestling fans, it was fascinating. For others, it chipped away at one of wrestling's oldest traditions, kayfabe. Meanwhile, one man continues protecting that tradition better than almost anybody else. And that man is MJF. For years, every criticism of AEW sounded exactly the same. They only have good matches. They don't build feuds. They don't tell stories. They just throw random dream matches together. It became the easiest criticism anybody could make. The problem was, people kept repeating it. Long after AEW started proving otherwise, Double or Nothing wasn't just about wrestling matches. Almost every match had emotional stakes, long-term rivalries, personal betrayals, friendships breaking apart, power struggles, championship obsessions, characters evolving. That's storytelling. Not every story has to be 20-minute in-ring promos. Not every rivalry needs endless contract signings. Sometimes storytelling happens through actions, facial expressions, small callbacks, character decisions. AEW has leaned heavily into that style. It's different from WWE. Different doesn't automatically mean worse. Double or Nothing felt like a payoff show. Not because every match was perfect, but because so many rivalries actually reached meaningful chapters. Instead of resetting every month, AEW allowed many stories to breathe. Fans were rewarded for paying attention over time. Characters remembered what happened months ago. Relationships actually mattered. Victories had consequences. Losses changed people. That's exactly what long-term storytelling is supposed to accomplish. Instead of asking, what happened this week? AEW often asks, what has this character been becoming for the last year? The difference matters, because wrestling isn't just about who wins. It's about why those wins matter. But here's where things get really interesting, because while AEW has been trying to protect immersion, WWE has gone in the opposite direction. Let's be clear, some fans love the WWE Unreal. Seeing how television gets made can genuinely be interesting. Watching creative meetings, seeing producers work, learning how matches come together, there's value in that. But it also changes the relationship between the audience and the product. Professional wrestling has always relied on suspension of disbelief. Fans know the outcomes are predetermined, yet many still enjoy treating the fictional world as if it has internal logic. That's part of the fun. Behind-the-scenes content can make it harder for some viewers to stay immersed because it shifts attention from the characters to the production process. The magician doesn't usually explain every trick before performing it. Part of the experience is wondering how it all comes together. When more of the process is exposed, some of the mystery naturally fades. This is where MJF stands out. Even in an era where almost every wrestler posts behind-the-scenes content, breaks character on podcasts, or jokes around online, MJF has consistently protected his on-screen persona. Whether he's insulting fans, mocking opponents, or staying true to the character in interviews, he commits. That doesn't mean he never steps out of character, but compared with much of modern wrestling, he has been one of the strongest advocates for maintaining the illusion. That consistency makes people invest. It makes people talk. It makes people speculate. People wonder what's real and what isn't. That's exactly what wrestling has thrived on. The lines become blurry. The audiences become emotionally invested. And suddenly, you're not just watching matches anymore. You're watching characters you genuinely care about. Now compare that with what many fans say about WWE today. One criticism some fans have is that WWE now feels more polished and corporate than it did in previous eras. The production is incredibly professional. The presentation is slick. Everything looks expensive. But sometimes, that polish can also make the product feel safer. Promos can sound heavily scripted. Shows often follow familiar structures. Marketing becomes part of the presentation. Corporate partnerships are everywhere. Again, some viewers enjoy that consistency. Others miss when wrestling felt a little less predictable. AEW, by comparison, often feels rougher around the edges. That isn't always a positive. Sometimes the production isn't as polished. Sometimes ideas don't land. But when they do, many fans feel they're seeing something less manufactured. The unpredictability is part of AEW's identity. One thing that's easy to overlook is how much AEW has changed since it launched. The company has adjusted its presentation, expanded character work, improved pacing, experimented with different storytelling styles. Not every experiment succeeds, but they keep trying new things, and that's important. Every wrestling company has strengths and weaknesses. The question is whether they're willing to evolve. AEW has shown a willingness to change. Some fans feel WWE changes more gradually because of its size, global audience, and established production styles. Whether that's a strength or a weakness depends on what you're looking for as a viewer. If you like consistency, WWE may appeal more to you. If you like unpredictability, AEW may be more your style. The idea that AEW doesn't tell stories just doesn't fit the product many fans are watching today. Double or Nothing showcased layered feuds, long-term character arcs, and meaningful rivalries. Whether you prefer AEW's or WWE's is ultimately subjective. At the same time, WWE's increased focus on behind-the-scenes content has sparked real debate about how much of wrestling's mystique should remain intact. And performers like MJF continue to remind fans why protecting a character can make wrestling feel special. Different companies are taking different approaches to storytelling. For many fans, that's a good thing. Competition pushes everyone to improve, so maybe it's time to retire the lazy criticism that AEW doesn't tell stories. The conversation today isn't whether AEW tells stories. It's about which style of storytelling you enjoy more, because whether you're watching AEW or WWE, the best wrestling is the wrestling that keeps you emotionally invested enough to come back next week. But what do you guys think? Do you think AEW is telling better stories right now? Or do you prefer WWE's approach? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another wrestling analysis. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.